So this function now has all of the pieces in there. We've got vertical shift and amplitude and something changing the period, and as well as the phase shift. The first thing to do though is in here factor out 3, because when we talk about phase shift it will say x plus a number or x minus a number is going to shift it to the left or to the right. But it's not 3x minus something or 3x plus something, it's just x. So in order to get the phase shift correct, we need to factor out the 3. Well, factoring out a 3 is the same thing as dividing out a 3. So we can say cosine of, and then factor out the 3, it's going to leave just x. And when you factor out or divide out a 3 from pi, it's going to leave pi divided by 3. And then of course you could always double check by just multiplying through and seeing, does it equal this? Yes. So the first thing that I like to do is the period. So that's going to take the original period of cosine, which is 2 pi, and divide by 3. And it can't be reduced. So the other x information is this, the phase shift. And this is moving it to the right by pi over 3. Okay, so this is x information, and then for the y information. Well, that's going to be these numbers in here. One is that the amplitude is 2, and that the vertical shift is 5, or up 5. So over here, if you look at the x information, this says that x is going to range from 0 to 2 pi over 3. And then this says go to the right by pi over 3. So we then need to add pi over 3 to both of these. And the result is that it's going to go from pi over 3 to, well, 2 pi over 3 plus another pi over 3 is going to be 3 pi over 3, or just pi. There's the x information. So on the x-axis, I'm going to start at pi over 3 and finish at pi. That'll be one cycle of cosine. And then for the y information, so if you like this idea, you can use the brackets, or you can say, instead of using brackets, you could use inequalities. So the y, according to the amplitude, the y is going to range from -2 to +2. And then everything needs to be shifted up by 5. So then add 5 and add 5. And so y is going to range between, on the top it's going to be a 7, and on the lowest it's going to be 3. So in here, have it range from 3 to 7. And then I like to use a box like this saying the x's are going to range between these two, the y's are going to range between these two, and now I need to cut it in half, which halfway between a 7 and a 3 is a 5. Or you could add them together and divide by 2 to find the same thing. And then what's halfway between these two? Well, that one's not so straightforward. So I'm going to find the average. So a pi plus a pi over 3, and then divide by 2. Well, the first one is 3 pi over 3. So that's a grand total of 4 pi over 3. And then cut it in half. Well, I could take a 2, invert it, and multiply. In other words, cut it in half. And then once it's reduced, it's going to be, so the 2 will divide into 4 2 times, so 2 pi over 3. Or sometimes you can look at it this way, that this is 1 pi over 3, and this is 3 pi over 3. So in the middle must be 2 pi over 3. If that works for you, you can use it. Okay, now just draw a cosine. Since it's positive cosine, it's going to start at the top. By the middle, it'll go to the bottom, and then back up. So there would be cosine. And then for a quick check, 5 plus 2 cosine. Always check the original problem. Because if I made a mistake in the first step, I don't want to graph my mistake. I want to graph the original problem and see if I got it right. So 3x minus pi. And then change the window to be the same as this red box right here. So x goes from pi divided by 3 to pi, and the y values from 3 to 7. And we should see one cycle of cosine.